Advisory Committee meeting of April 24th, 2025. Please call roll.
Glenn Arasi,
Here.
Josh Hamilton.
Here.
Warren Jensen.
Here.
Terry Smith.
Here.
John Zilich.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Sheard.
Here.
Chair Jenkins.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. If anyone would like to speak on any of these items, are there blue speaker cards?
there
Blue speaker cards over there to fill out, unless you're an applicant. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on a non-agenda item tonight? No? We have a presentation then. Go ahead if you're ready.
Yes, let me say a quick introduction here. If you recall, this Planning Commission has recommended approval to the City Council of the new fire maps, which are in front of you there, which have added some fire risk to the city of Oroville within the city of limits for the first time. And the Planning Commission and the City Council expressed interest in things like fire-safe landscapes, foothill zone, and the council especially has expressed a lot of interest in incentives to developers, certificates for fire-safe communities, insurance rates in particular. A lot of folks are having trouble with insurance rates. And then to monitor state regulations or legislation regarding insurance. So we agreed to have a presentation of some of these issues to you, and the City Council is going to get the same presentation at its next meeting. So I'd like to introduce Jim Houtman. He is an active member of the Fire Safe Council and very active with us in recruiting our development zone, our biodiversity zone, and such. And Lauren DeTerra, who is the Director of Community Engagement for the Fire Safe Council. We've asked them to speak for about 15 minutes and then discussion.
Good evening, members of the commission. Thank you for having us here. I'm going to go through some real quick stuff about the Fire Safe Council, fire history you guys are all aware of, and then Lauren will talk about the Firewise communities. Am I controlling the slides or?
Yeah, there's a clicker right there. It's already on. Just point it kind of towards this way and you can
Okay.
advance it.
The Fire Safe Council has been around, maybe.
Whoops.
Fire Safe Council has been around Butte County for 25 years. We work all over Butte County from Cohasset all the way up to Clipper Mills, which is both ends of the county, and all the way up to Butte Meadows, and everywhere there's a WUI, which is the Wild Urban Interface, which now you are very aware of, you're part of. So we do all kinds of fuel reduction projects. We're grant funded, we're a 501c3, and we work with all the other local fire safe councils and firewise communities in Butte County. Mission is to provide Butte County through wildfire education, mitigation, and wildfire recovery. We added recovery after the campfire because it was something we were very involved with. Some of the programs we do is our flagship program, the Chipper program, which we offer free chipping for landowners who stack material a certain way. Give us a call, we come out and have a contractor come and chip it and leave the material in place. We also do residence assistance program where we go and help landowners clear their defensible space for 100 feet if they're disabled, low income, that kind of thing. We also do a lot of hazard tree removal, grazing, and the Firewise USA communities. We develop these programs. We work with our granting agencies to help assist with landowners to do what they need to do to protect their property. We have a lot of outreach. We do programs throughout the schools. We do tours of our projects to our partners, to the residents. We have a grazing festival that's coming up, so you can come and see everything you want to know about goats and what you don't want to know about goats, because they're a lot of work. But there's a lot of different things that we help communities understand the community that they live in and how they can help protect their properties. Like I said, the chipper program, you stack it, we come and do this. We've already done 46 sites in Orville, I guess, this year. It's no cost to the residents. If they stack the material the right way, we can do the work for them. We also help with the defensible space. A lot of times we do projects on people's property and we go out and do the thinning, and they're like, well, don't do this and don't do that. And then we do the project and then they're like, can you come back and do a little bit more? Because this is what my property looked like when I moved in 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago. So it really is getting them to understand. It's a great picture there of what a property can look like if you do the right thing. I'll hit some maps here in a minute and show you why that's so important. We also have done a lot of hazard tree removal. We're currently getting ready to help the town of Paradise do hazard tree removal, what they call the Category 4 trees, which I describe as the back 40, the back of people's property that they didn't get done with any of their other state or federal programs to remove trees. We're now going through a process to help the town remove some of those trees. We also have a couple grants to do work in the camp and the North Complex footprints to help those landowners remove the trees from their property. And it's everything from falling them to and hauling the material away and anything they need to have happen. We are prioritizing people that are either rebuilding or have a structure that's in place that could be a hazard to that, and then we're kind of moving to evacuation zones. Like I said, our grazing festival, this is going to be our 4th annual one this year. And it really is a great time to see, we're very much a proponent of using all the tools in the toolbox. And there's a couple different great examples of where grazing helped communities, most recently in the Thompson Fire, where some people came to a grazing festival, learned about all the other things we did. They treated their own property, then they had some goats and the fire came right to their property line and stopped. So it really does, it's about that tour, the education, getting people to know who we are and what we do and how they can help themselves. The fire history, basically, like I said, all the tools in the toolbox there, you see all the different things that we can do. There's other things in there as well, but hand cut and chip, hand cut and pile, all the different things, all the way down to logging and then reforestation. We have a couple of projects. We've actually gone out and replanted trees in the forest to help everybody out. The key component, what I want you to see there is that we treated about 3,500 acres last year. Our goal is to hit 6,000 this year. In the last 25 years, over half of Butte County has experienced wildfire. So it is in our communities. Doesn't matter where you live, both the Camp Fire, the Thompson Fire, the Dixie Fire, the North, it all affects us. Even though it doesn't affect our property necessarily, we've all felt the impact of those fires. Here's a couple different maps of fire history. You can see where the fires have burned since 2000. All the red areas are areas that have burned. The purple areas are places that people live, the WUI. You'll see that in the Park Fire, which is like the teardrop going up on the upper left-hand corner of that, you can see there's a little red dot in the middle. That's the community of Cohasset that survived. And the map on the right is a community of Cohasset. And if you notice, there's a lot of different dots and colors in there. The green part is what survived. All the other blue dots and the orange and the yellow are where we had projects up there. And I pointed out the blue dots specifically because those are places where, the triangles, that's where people had the chipper come. Actually came and did work on their property. They chipped the material, and a lot of the structures where the triangles are also have structures that survived. So it's a good reminder that just a little bit of work helps. The one key piece about Cohasset is that we turned that community in some place where firefighters want to go. You have to have an inviting property, some place that they want to come and help put out the fire. If they turn down your driveway and it's a cave to get there, they're not going to go there. So it's about that awareness for the landowners, but it's also about making the whole community safer. And this is a good example of how that happened. Some pictures of the Park Fire. There was a big fuel reduction project right on Highway 32. A lot of people were upset about what happened, but it really did protect the rest of the community, because if that hadn't been there, the fire would have gone right over Highway 32 into Forest Ranch, which led into Magalia, Sterling City, all the way up into Butte Meadows. See how homes survived right there along the fire's edge. We did a lot of work in both Forest Ranch and Cohasset, so this is a direct outcome of that. This is an area called Maple Creek Ranch. It's right in the heart of the community. There was all different types of projects, just about every one that I listed there we did. Hand-cut pile, chipping, prescribed fire, grazing. We did some biomass removal, and it allowed this landowner to help protect his property, which ultimately helped save part of the community as well. It's just up there today. Good drone footage of his home. A little bit of work goes a long ways. Some of the projects we're doing, we have a whole GIS shop that does the work for us with our partners. You can see that on the top, you can see where Lake Oroville is. There's some different colors along the water that comes out of Lake Oroville. Those are projects that we had planned. A lot of that area was affected in the Thompson Fire. We are still working with CAL FIRE and PG&E to go in and do some remediation there. There's still an area that did not burn there, so there's a lot of vegetation that still needs to be removed. So we're in the process right now of doing our CEQA to get all the project in compliance. You can see also on to the right of that, there's a lot of other projects that we work with partners to do, and it all is directly helping the city of Oroville. You can see there's a little blue area right in the middle. That's Ishii School. We did some grazing there a couple years ago. So we're doing projects all over the place, like I said, and this is a good example of how those help protect your community. And there's a same fire footprint of different areas from 2000 to now. So you can see fire is all around you, and there's been some very, very close fires. So, you now have a map with some of your community members that are going to be affected by fire in both insurance. And that's why, helping them do Firewise communities is a very, very important part of how we can help you and help them. Part of it is about insurance. That's a big thing, but also it's about, protecting lives. That's what I didn't mention about what happened in the Park Fire is no one perished. There were no lives lost there. So, a little bit of work there. Every other fire we've had in the community, unfortunately, the larger fires, there's been people that have perished. So if nothing else happened, if the whole community burned down, we still have saved lives, and that's the most important thing for us. Lauren's going to come up and talk about Firewise communities now.
Thanks, Jim. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I've been working for the Butte County Fire Safe Council for the past 4 years now, and as part of my position, I help anyone interested in starting a Firewise USA community through the process. I've helped about 25 communities at this point, so my big takeaway is it's easier than you think. Anyone can start one, and I'll go through kind of the application process this evening. There we go. So Firewise is under the National Fire Protection Association. It is a national program, but it is managed in California by CAL FIRE and in Butte County supported by CAL FIRE and the Butte County Fire Safe Council. The goal is to reduce risk on personal property, so it encourages people to reduce their risk on their home with their neighbors. It is voluntary and optional, so no one will be forced to participate in a program. But really the goal is the buy-in and getting neighbors to work together. Here's a map from a couple years ago showing those Firewise sites. It's grown tremendously in the past year or two, largely driven by insurance. But we've also seen a lot more support for the program as well. And we keep a Firewise page on our website that shows the updated map every time a new community is formed or started. And through our website, people can also get their certificate. And so after this, if you'd like to take a look of where those communities are, when someone starts a community, we put it in yellow as pending, and then once they're certified, they go green. And I'm proud to say we have 36 active communities right now in Butte County that works with us and the local fire safe councils. And most of those were formed just in the past year. So in the Oroville area, currently, we have just 2 certified, one in Kelly Ridge, who's hosting their first outreach event this Saturday, and then one in Lake Wyandotte that's been working for a couple years. And then we have 4 where people have contacted me to start the application, but they have not submitted yet and are in progress. You'll see downtown has a large Firewise community. I'm going to meet with that leader next week and potentially reduce the size of it to take in less of the downtown. So I'll keep you all posted on how that goes. So the main components, if someone wants to start a Firewise community, starts with a map, and we help produce that for them. We join them in their neighborhood to go through a risk assessment. We basically just drive around and do a curbside observation. And we also work with CAL FIRE to get their inspection data. So what's great is we don't have to do the guesswork. We can get the data. They just remove the individual addresses. And then we have a really good snapshot of people's risks. And using that action plan, we help them make a 3-year action plan broken down into a couple categories as a whole to reduce their risk. Whoever that leader is the one in charge of putting all of that into the portal online. And then when they submit those documents, they also upload volunteer hours, vegetation removed, and they do have to hold one type of outreach activity per year for their neighborhood. For the size, it's up to the leader. So there has to be at least 8 homes or dwelling units within it. It can go all the way up to 2,500, which is a very large community. The biggest we have in Butte County is around 600, and that's just down on the edge of Chico, Little Chico Creek. Businesses or empty lots don't count per se. They're still taken into account to be an area to be aware of. But in terms of the number of structures within the community, they're just looking at lived-in homes. And so for that risk assessment, like I said, it's taking in the snapshot of the whole community. So we're not going into people's backyards or looking at their individual house, but just as a whole, what are the greatest areas of risk for this neighborhood? CAL FIRE still does their own inspections, so this risk assessment does not take the place of that, and we don't share these results anywhere online or with insurance. It's just for part of the application process. And over the past couple months, we've had 15 of our staff go through CAL FIRE's Defensible Space Assessment Program, so we are now qualified entities, so we can do assessments on behalf of CAL FIRE. Now, not inspections. People would still get inspections. We can't cite anyone. But this can really help with proactive assessments. If people want more information about their property or their neighborhood, we can help with that, as well as we had 11 of our Firewise leaders go through this 2-day training. And so when they make the 3-year action plan, these are the mandatory categories that need to be in that plan. So it needs to address education outreach, home hardening, fuels reduction and defensible space, and evacuation planning and preparedness. So education outreach, that could just be going door to door, hosting an event, passing out flyers, inviting neighbors to the grazing festival. That's kind of the easiest targets to hit. Home hardening, potentially one of the more difficult ones, but again, Firewise is just making recommendations. So if neighbors don't upgrade their vents or their decks, the community isn't going to get disqualified, but it would be spreading that education to encourage neighbors to do what they can in these categories. Defensible space and fuels reduction, and then evacuation planning and preparedness. And so once an application is submitted, CAL FIRE reviews it. It usually takes 2 to 3 weeks, but due to just statewide capacity and demand, it's around 2 to 6 weeks, what they say. And either you get your certificate or you are asked to make some updates and changes to the application. Once we get that certificate, we ask the leader to share it with their neighborhood, and we put it on our website. That's what insurance companies are looking for to give that discount. And then every year, the leader submits their annual renewal, and they get a new certificate that goes on our website and that people would have to share with their insurance. To maintain the status, all that's required is 1 hour of work per house per year, which is, yeah. We want a heck of a lot more than that. Every community that we have goes above and beyond the required match, but this is just good to note that once you are a Firewise community, your odds of being disqualified or losing your status is very low because people are already doing this. It's just a matter of documenting and encouraging them to do more than perhaps what they're already doing. And so the hours, the investment match counts work on your own property. So if you mow your lawn, clean your gutters, all of that counts. Work in common areas, as well as money spent, that's converted into match as well. It's about 1 hour, they say, is worth $30. So if you make a big upgrade on your home, just put in that financial investment in, makes a big difference. And as the leader, we hope that they work with at least 1 or 2 other people to keep the momentum and for support. You have to do a new risk assessment every 5 years, a new action plan every 3 years, and then the volunteer hours and expenses are submitted annually. Some of the benefits, saving money on insurance, but of course improving collective safety, getting neighbors to work together towards a common goal, and then having that increased support from the Fire Safe Council and CAL FIRE is huge, because when we get a new grant or opportunity, I share that with the leaders. And so if you're in a community, you're the first to know about opportunities, as well as when we're writing grants. If we know the community needs and concerns, we can write grants to help support these communities and put in their priorities. So a couple questions that come up, is participation mandatory? Does everyone need to pitch in or help? And the answer is no. It takes the overall average of the group. So if you have 10 homes in your community and 2 don't participate, they would be made up for by the other 8 that do. But we hope to see most people participate over time. The insurance discount in California, if your policy covers fire, it is a mandatory discount. It used to be a couple companies would offer one and some wouldn't, but now it's all of them. And this is part of the Safer from Wildfires program from the Department of Insurance. So this is great news. The downside is that some of the discounts are quite low. There's not a required amount. So it's from 2 to 10%, with the California FAIR Plan being the 10% towards the top end. So that can still be a considerable discount for people. And can you get rejected if your risk is too high? The answer is no. It's kind of the opposite of insurance. It doesn't really matter how much fuel you have or what condition your home is in. If you just correctly fill out the paperwork and identify those risks and work towards improving them, you get in the program. And you are not allowed to cut around neighbors that you don't like. It has to be a continuous shape, and everyone is in that community, whether they opt in or not. Neighborhood politics. All right, I'll keep moving quickly through these next things, but the program, of course, focuses on home hardening and defensible space, because we want to empower people to do everything they can on their personal property. And so just a few of the main components of the home that we can encourage people to strengthen towards flame contact, and especially embers: the roof, the gutters, vents, windows, siding, decks, and fences. And we can encourage it through FireWise, but as ordinances become more strict and insurance is looking at that, it really benefits people to do all of these things now, and be proactive about it if they can. For defensible space, one of the big things we're seeing in California is the 0 to 5 foot non-combustible zone, which can be a little bit of a battle, but basically no plants planted within 5 feet of your home. That is what insurance companies are looking for, and that's a goal for FireWise as well. Outside of that, reducing fuels around 30 feet, mowing your grass, removing all dead and flammable plants as much as you can. A resource in Butte County is the free WUI green waste drop-off days. We share this with our FireWise communities for people to remove their excess fuel if it doesn't fit in their bins. A certification that an individual can get is the Wildfire Prepared Home certification. It's under IBHS. It is pretty strict. There's an online checklist of what your home needs to have to be able to qualify. That 0 to 5 foot zone is one of the key components. In Paradise, every new house now is built to this standard, so anyone with a new home in Paradise can qualify for this program. You do have to do an annual either self-evaluation or professional evaluation, and there's a 3-year recertification. So there are some hoops, but if people you know, this could be on top of a Firewise community. So for the Fire Safe Council, we try to treat the areas around the community, and then there's Firewise, and then there's your individual property. So thinking of the bullseye. So I have a recommendation for insurance because I'm not an expert, but Lisa Strange is our county representative with the Department of Insurance, and she's given presentations to our staff and Town of Paradise. And she is always willing to come present. So if you would like a more in-depth overview on what the California Department of Insurance is working on and regulations, highly recommend her. But online, people can file a complaint online, and also the insurance department works to protect consumers from non-renewals after a fire. And so what we're hoping to see this year is more policies written in high and very high risk areas where 15% of people or more are on the California Fair Plan. We've already seen success with this in Paradise, with Mercury Insurance deciding to come back and write policies again. So we're hoping the Fair Plan is not the standard, but what it should be, an insurance of last resort. This is what I talked about with the bullseye, and this is part of the Safer from Wildfires framework of starting with your property, your neighborhood, and then the whole community. And then that's the website, and I have some packets for you guys later on with some of these resources and follow-ups. A few online resources. Be Ready Butte in Butte County is excellent, has lots of resources. There's our Fire Safe Council website, CAL FIRE statewide, and then United Policyholders. Final plug for the Grazing Festival, June 1st. It'll be great up in Paradise. And can I answer any questions? I know I've gone a little bit over here.
Any questions or comments from the commission?
Well, this is a silly question, but when you have to have the 5 feet from your home of living vegetation, can it be in a pot?
Yes.
Thank God. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
good.
One
Okay.
question, I'm sorry, I didn't want to, the city expressed interest in becoming a Firewise community itself. You have a limit of 2,500 homes, I think you said. So it does not behoove the city to do this as a whole. It behooves the city to encourage neighborhoods to do this. Is this correct?
It could be divided up as part of your plan. You could send maybe 2 or 3 communities through the process all together and have a similar action plan. But that's actually what we're doing in Magalia. There's a property owners association with too many homes, so we split it into 3. So that could be an option, and it would keep more control and consistency over the process rather than kind of having, you know, people from the public making a community of any size wherever they want. Yeah. Great. Thank you for having us again.
Thank you. We will open the public hearing. Item 1, staff report, please.
Good evening. Good evening, Commissioners. We are pulling that up right now. Okay, our first report for the evening is a used vehicle dealership and vehicle repair, rental called Drive Autos. It's going to be located at 3163 Olive Highway, which is just west of the intersection of Foothill and Olive Highway, in a pre-existing site that has historically been used for either auto repair or kind of an industrial manufacturing. So here is a picture of the site. Drives Autos already does have one of their signs up right now. It is a temporary sign, and they are aware that if they do decide to put up a more permanent sign, they need to come seek a building permit, sign permit from us for that. Okay, so we're gonna go over the site plan just a little bit. Technical difficulty. Okay, so there's an existing metal structure. It's approximately 3,500 square feet, and it does run pretty much from lot line to lot line. The back area of this site is unimproved, and it's also a pretty steep slope and not utilized. Again, the signage, that one picture you showed was the signage on the main entrance off of Olive Highway on the left there. They have another sign that is identical on the fence that faces Foothills. And then the last part I want to talk about is a non-conforming barbed wire fence. That there is a pre-existing fence. It is in need of repair. It has been broken into several times in the past, and it is wrapped with barbed wire and razor wire. A pre-existing fence, and that it is in need of repair. We are requesting that the fence be recognized as being non-conforming, and that they are allowed to maintain it, they are allowed to repair it, but because it's mixed-use zoning, they are not allowed to expand it. So the areas of the fence that don't currently have the barbed wire or the razor wire cannot have it added to it. And so that is a specific condition for this use permit. That I do have a recommended motion, and that concludes my staff report. The applicant is here today as well.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to say anything?
Hi, my name is Corey.
I'm sorry, it's recorded, so you...
Hello, my name is Corey Mandrill. As you got, we're going to be opening Dry's Auto, so we're going to be first starting with just sales and then expanding into rentals at a later time. And if you have any questions, I'm right here for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here from the public who wishes to comment on this item?
I have no submitted cards.
Thank you. We will close public comment and limit discussion between commissioners and staff. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Are there any, what are the rules or regulations with abandoned vehicles at a place like this?
Are you talking about on the site, or if?
Yeah, on the site, like, it's for new or used cars, right, or rentals. Is there ever going to be storage of old abandoned vehicles?
No. There
Okay.
is currently, there is currently a car being stored on site, that will not be there once they open and finish. There's still a little bit of, work they're doing inside the, prefab.
I mean, we just have some places in town that just keep collecting old cars and they never go anywhere. And even though you try to have them go somewhere and it's against so many written codes, they don't leave. So I just want to start at the beginning.
Yeah, no,
no old abandoned
I've been on the
cars.
site. Corey and his father Bill have been out there cleaning it up. They've done a lot of defensible space around the building, and it's starting to actually look really nice.
Cool.
Having not been utilized for, my understanding is several years.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Been a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my only comment on the razor wire is the fact that it is fairly remote, and the razor wire, I'm not concerned about it because it's right up against the existing canal, the existing creek right there. I know the property well. So in my opinion, at least until something would move in next door, it'd almost be a good thing to have in that location. Yeah, it'd be much safer to have the razor wire stay on there, so I'm glad we're able to leave that for them.
Any other questions or comments, or we're open for motion?
What about the,
They are not required to do new landscaping, unless you would like to add a condition of approval that they, put in new landscaping.
and is there gonna be
No. Rentals.
Well, they would do oil changes, right, or some on your own vehicles,
On the rentals?
on the rentals?
Yeah.
Okay, so you would perform maintenance on your rentals that you would be renting. I just want to make sure that you know.
No, sorry, yeah, no.
it's not a working garage?
It is not a mechanic shop now.
What kind of cars are you going to be renting?
Depends on what's coming up at the auctions.
Gonna start in, mid-range, $8,000, $7,000, $8,000, but retail value, kind of working from there, see what we can do.
Open for motion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion to follow the staff's recommendation to conduct a public hearing on the proposed land use, adopt the notion of exemption as the appropriate level of environmental review for the project, to approve the use permit UP 25-07 with the recommended findings and proposed conditions, and adopt resolution number P 2025-08.
I'll second that.
Glenn?
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
When do you open? You're working.
Still waiting on the DMV on that one. 2 to 3 months, they said.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you gotta work with the
At least you
state,
have new
don't we?
sidewalks.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Sidewalks, new
Yeah.
ramp into the Waha, it's nice.
Item 2, staff report, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. We have another use permit for a mechanic shop and auto dealer. So this one is a mechanic shop and the used car dealership, whereas the other one was just the used car dealership. So 1700 Feather River Boulevard. It is located right behind the Asian Market, which is at 1700. And if you recall, the Fun Fishery was a use permit for an aquaponics store that is also going to be located there that you guys heard back in February. So again, we have a prefab existing metal structure that is in the rear of the lot. Oh, it works now. Everything on site is already existing. There is the mechanic shop that I mentioned. This area over here is where vehicles will be displayed. The applicant is going to stripe those spaces that you see. He has also requested outdoor storage, Conex containers be added to his use permit. In the C2 zone, outdoor storage greater than 250 square feet does require a use permit, and so we have a condition of approval that will allow him 500, which is the max allowed in that zone.
Okay.
Have barbed wire, razor wire existing fencing. However, this is C2 zoning, and you are allowed to have this type of fencing with a use permit, and so we are asking that this be added to the use permit with a condition of approval to memorialize it as well. These are the project-specific conditions, the first being that he is allowed to have the 500 square feet of the Conex containers behind the mechanic shop, and the second, that he be able to continue on with the existing fence. However, because it is a condition of use and we have to be careful when we put razor wire, especially on a commercial area like that, so we are requesting that if they do expand it, they have to come get approval from the planning department. And that concludes my presentation, and I am looking for a motion, please. And the applicant is here.
Thank you. Could you go back to the plot plan real fast? Just, what's the bottom where it says A+, guaranteed repairs along Feather River Bowl, right there?
That is the location of a proposed sign, but it has not been submitted yet. There is also a condition of approval in there, similar to the first one that you just heard from Drives, to get a building permit if it's needed.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to speak?
Hi, my name is Chad Yang, and I'd like to open a mechanic shop with be selling some used car along the lot, just like Christina was saying. So that was my plan. So unless you have any question for me.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public?
Sorry, Chair Jenkins, staff did have a question for the applicant. I sent you an email earlier, Chad, but if you would just for us on the site plan. So, is the fencing that's going around it, there we go. Against the back of the mechanic shop.
Right.
But your site plan has a separation of 26 feet. Is this where it's going to be after you put the comments?
Yes. I plan to put the fence, extending where you talk about the storage.
Okay.
And I plan to put the fence all across to the other side.
Okay, are those the panels that are already out there?
The panel?
Like
No,
there's chain link panels,
no, not yet.
so you're gonna get new ones?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to be putting barbed wire, razor wire against?
I would take your recommendation for that. If you say that it would be, since we already have the a barbed wire on it, like you and I talked about last time.
It goes down the sides on both
Right.
sides.
Right. I would take your recommendation and whatever you recommended, and that's what I'm gonna follow.
Okay. So then. So we did have a little confusion on some of the site plan, and that is the existing fence on the, it's actually the western portion of the property that's on the top of the slide. That is
The blue line?
the blue line. So most of the blue line is already up and existing. The blue line on the top of the slide there, however, is not existing right now. It's attached to the back of the mechanic shop. So, what
okay,
they're
I see what
going
you're
to
saying.
do is move
I
the
missed
fence
that.
approximately 26 feet back after the mechanics is in. So, if the motion, that, amend condition number 2 to include, allowance of the razor wire, barbed wire on that back portion there.
And that's where the outdoor storage is going to be behind the between the back of the building and the back fence. That's correct. Got it.
So the other requirement would be that wherever the property line is, because there's two parcels there, we should be aware that the fence might go across property lines, even though there'd be no structures. Is that correct? Or will the new fence be on the property line, existing property line?
It will cross over.
Yeah,
My understanding is that the property line is,
yeah, right. It's about approximately that, yes.
And both parcels are under the same ownership.
That's correct. Eric Tom is the property owner.
I had a question. How do you deal with cars that are abandoned there? You know, people don't pick them up or they don't sell. What is that procedure?
Well, they have to come and pick it up. So let's say if somebody come and fix a car, I think that's where your question is. If they don't pick it up, and they just leave it there. So if they don't, because they will owe me a bill, right? I mean,
Yes.
then that means I have the
Exactly.
right to either, like put their car into,
Lien sale.
take over their car or send it to auction or something like that, and so that's the kind of thing that I probably have to get some legal thing that I probably have to do.
So it's a hassle, probably. So that's my concern. What are the rules around that? Leaving cars that are abandoned on the lot?
we don't have rules specifically within Title 17 regarding that.
Not in this zone?
Or
Okay. Because I know in the mixed-use downtown, you can't store cars.
general conditions that you have to keep the site looking clean, that it has to be maintained on the site, and so those are typical conditions that are included. And so Chad will, Mr. Ying will also have that added to his as well, his resolution.
And we're not trying to pick on you. It's
No,
just
we're not.
in our town, unfortunately,
Yes.
we do have some lots in the downtown areas that have had the same vehicles sitting right next to the fence, right next to the sidewalk for many, many years.
Years.
So we're just looking to prevent that from happening in the future. Basically, we're saying that hopefully, you lien sale the car, that can take a couple months or a few months, get it through the DMV.
Yeah.
You put it out there for sale, and hopefully it sells within a month or two.
Right.
So the maximum would be 5-6 months at the most, there'd be a car sitting there probably. and that's understandable, but when it starts sitting there for years and years and gets an inch of dust on it and everything, that's what we're concerned
Yeah,
about.
so some of the car that, let's say if I have some car that I'm going to sell, it's not sell. My goal is to put that back into the auction, you know, and then.
Where
they
you
can
got
s-
it, take it
Yeah,
back.
where I got it, because I'm a licensed selling car, and I also have a broker,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I can also send that back into the auction and say, hey, you know, all this is
Mm-hmm.
outdated, and I can't sell it, so I put it back into the auction and they can sell it.
Yeah, and I would also add, he's got pretty limited space there.
Yes.
So he's
Yeah.
pretty motivated
Yeah,
to
and
keep it
Yes.
clean, so.
Yeah, and I mean, your business is selling automobiles. You don't want to have cars sitting there for a long time, not selling, and, you know, have stale inventory, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the applicant's probably already incentivized to
Motivated,
keep to keep from having well, these aren't abandoned cars, they're just cars that wouldn't sell. so,
They're in process.
Yeah.
I know, there wasn't, yeah, you asked your questions. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
So, hold on, So, the Asian market, people park in front of it
Yeah.
adjacent to Feather River. The Fun Fishery has an area in the back. They have a few spots where they're gonna have their outdoor tank that is adjacent to the actual structure. Their customers will park in the front.
Okay, so the 7 parking spots, is that part of the Asian market or is that part of the auto center?
My understanding is it's not included in your lease, right?
So if you look at that chart, everything in the front, I didn't put that diagram, I mean, I didn't draw all the parking in the front. That's where all the Asian part is gonna be parked in the front. You see the diagram on the back, say we have all this parking. That's where my parking is gonna be, behind the Asian market, that's where all my parking is gonna be. And then the 3 spot that next to the shop, that's where I'm gonna have like the handicap parking and the extra parking. That's where all the customers are gonna park right there. And then along the side, that's where I display my car.
So this is fully fenced?
Yeah.
It will be.
It will be. So right now, the existing fence, it does have a gate, and it's about like, what, halfway up the structure there, the Asian market?
Yeah.
And then you can close it completely and lock off the back on both sides of the Asian.
So right where it says A+ auto guarantee repairs, that's supposed to be the road sign?
Yeah, that will be,
And that line behind it with the little squares, that's fencing?
Yeah, that's the way, where her cursor is, that's the fencing, and that's the door, right, going right into it. So if you see
And so
that, that's the
the-
front, that's like Feather Boulevard.
So
Feather
the
River Boulevard.
perforated line, is that just your lot delineation or is that also gonna be fenced?
that's the lease area.
The what area?
The lease.
Area being leased.
His name is Eric, right?
Yeah,
Eric Tao owns both properties and he has subleased within the Asian market to Fun Fishery, and then he's also subleased the back parking lot and
Okay, but the parking is his use, right?
yes, for the
So why not have a,
hold on. So like these over
There's
here,
confusion.
for Chad to use
so why not just have it screened right there, a fence with it screened right there, if that's all his parking, right?
fenced. There is a chain link
I mean,
fence.
Can you pull up the fence, blue
Screened.
line again?
It's a show to where the cars are to.
He wants to
yeah,
show the
I mean,
cars.
having it, so you can't see it from the road. So if he has cars there, you know, that are being worked on, needs a new motor, sitting there, everything, you're not, like on Montgomery, you see all these cars, they're behind a chain link fence, but they're not screened.
Okay.
So, right there, where you come in off of Feather River, that perforated line right there, is that a gate?
That is a gate of a chain link fence, and the cars that are for sale will be visible there. The cars that are being worked behind the Asian market.
That's true.
So the cars, so like any cars that are parked in the 3 spots or the 7 down, those are all from view from the river.
So my question would be, where the sign is shown next to the Asian market, wasn't that where the fish tank was gonna go?
No, the fish tank is going to go.
So it's gonna squeeze right in there?
Yeah, it's actually,
Oh,
Chad did a really great job.
Okay.
It's not really to scale. There's a lot of room. You go back there on the site,
Okay.
you go through the gate, and it's like a whole
I was just worried that there wasn't gonna be enough room for them to be able to fit
We're gonna
in
go
there.
fishing. We're gonna buy a car. I love it.
With their outdoor tank, and that's 25 by 25,
Yeah.
and it'll even
Oh, yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Okay, there's room.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to comment on this?
None submitted.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Yeah.
Any more questions or comments, or we're open for motion?
Well, my one question was, I really thought that it isn't to code unless it's approved to, and I know he's not gonna do this at all, but I'm just saying, I think there are guidelines in place where you can't store abandoned vehicles
So
unless it's screened.
Brandon did find it. So Title 10 Title 10.2 is abandoned vehicles.
Yeah.
Within the code, and it does apply to private and public property.
Okay, that's what I thought.
However, it is outside of my wheelhouse, so
Okay.
I don't feel comfortable getting too far into it because I haven't read it and I don't know it.
It's a question. I'll study it again. Yeah.
So it's gonna be a working gate
Yes, it is already.
right there. So, I know, I just think it'd be good to have it, robot slats in that fence. So it's not being, so it's screened, so whatever's back there, I mean, you don't want people just wandering through there, looking at cars
Well, I mean, don't
during
you
non-business
though?
hours.
Well, yes, so during non-business
do.
hours, it will be shut.
And if it's shut, then it would be screened.
But then they can't see the cars and they want to sell the cars.
You'd be seeing them during business hours.
Require that other dealerships screen their
Mm-hmm.
inventory areas.
Yeah.
Especially since the only cars that will be visible are the ones that are for sale, all the ones that are being worked on. And we can, if it would make you feel better, add a condition that says any car that is not for sale cannot be parked in that one specific area that is visible.
But it will be locked at night, is what I'm saying, correct? Yeah, it will be locked, so no one can go back there, that's what I'm saying.
That's why we have a fence, and then we're gonna put the fence on.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've actually
Important.
purchased vehicles before in my life when I've driven by a lot and it was closed, but I saw the vehicle I wanted.
Yes.
I went back the next day and bought it, even
Yeah.
though the lot was closed.
I think you want people to see.
Yeah.
This as long as they're not the old dilapidated ones for 10 years. That's all. That's
Well,
all I'm
I mean,
saying.
we've seen what's happened on Montgomery Street, right?
I know, that's all.
Okay.
We're
That's
suffering.
exactly it.
We're
And that's never gonna
traumatized.
be fixed,
Right.
apparently. So I just didn't want to add to,
I
Exactly.
agree.
okay?
I have the same passion.
Carapalooza.
I
basically.
agree. Yes.
To me, it seemed like an easy fix to screen them.
It's probably a code enforcement issue on Montgomery, though. It's a different issue.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
Would you like to put a condition that says that only cars that are for sale can be parked on that section of the lot?
I don't want to make it harder for him at all to do
No, I
his
mean,
business plan.
but I would think that you would want to have the cars that are being worked on where those 7 spots are.
Yeah.
So they're screened behind the building, right?
Right.
But I mean, if he's selling, is he gonna have balloons and giant inflatable gorillas saying cars for sale?
Well, I hope so.
As delightful as those are. But he is certainly allowed balloons, and we have concessions in code for grand openings, and then twice a year you can do temporary sign permits to have another party.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
All right.
I will say, I don't know if you know this or not, but in those 7 spots that I'm telling you are hidden, there's a boat parked back there right now.
And we don't even know it's there.
That's me, I don't.
I mean, it's a good screening.
I will take responsibility.
He's been working out there when I was working my site. He's cleaning it up.
A lot of this is code enforcement
Yeah.
issues that have not been addressed.
Which is a
So-
different issue, but this is wonderful project.
Yeah.
Let's say I will help clean up.
Awesome.
He's already enlisted me. We've got photos.
Perfect.
I think we appreciate that this is a good use of
Yes.
land that's not particularly accessible, especially
Right.
from a right-of-way.
Right.
But is going to generate some economic activity, and the unsightly portions of it are not going to be seen generally from the right-of-way. I think it,
And normally I'm very against Connex boxes, but it looks to me like they're gonna be completely hidden from the public view,
Yeah.
so fine with that.
Yeah, as long as those are somewhat hidden, we don't want boxes right out in the middle of
Not only were
there.
they completely hidden, that they're to be painted the same color so they match.
Perfect.
Well, great.
Open for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve use permit UP 2507 as agenda sets.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
does that include everything that we need to approve?
If you guys are okay with a common sense sort of interpretation of project condition number 2, I can go with that and use that to work with the applicant. Or we can amend it, whatever is more comfortable.
Does everybody like the fence in the back?
Well, I think the fence in the
Well,
back is needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Consensus? Please open voting.
Okay, we'll shop for fish and cars.
Did we need to specifically?
And groceries, yes.
Did we need to specifically adopt the notice of exemption, or was that included in what
Because she
Natalie
said
did?
as agendized and that was on there, we're good.
You mean I didn't have to read off that whole thing before?
I know.
Yeah,
It's the
thanks,
short way.
Natalie. Thanks, Natalie. I'll remember that.
We just like hearing you speak, John. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we have all been waiting for. Oh, is it, are we open?
Item 3, staff report, please.
My daughter's been waiting.
Here we go. All right, so no news, no surprise. It's been all over Facebook. It's been to DRC already. We've been getting lots of calls. We have a formal application for a Chick-through quick serve restaurant full development. These are the proposed elevations. You'll have to apologize my low technology, but this is about how it's going to look in comparison to the existing Maverick site, and then how a Chick-fil-A will be developed and the orientation of the lot. So we're gonna go a little bit into the development, just like we did with the other ones, and then there's a few things that we will call out and discuss individually. So the first thing is it is a quick-serve restaurant drive-through, 4,266 square feet. It has 100 seats, 20 of which are outdoors. There is approximately 460 feet of dedicated drive-through lane, and that's just in the green area. So the drive-through lane has and then that area, it's kind of hard to see, but it's right behind it. That's where they'll take your order. You'll condense down to one lane, and then once you swing around the building, you have 2 lanes there. The one on the right is a bypass lane, and then the one on the left is your pickup window. And so 460 feet, we did request a traffic impact study be done. This was shown to, for the most part, allow all the traffic on the site to safely navigate without spilling over. However, if it happens, they have an additional 270 feet of queuing, which gives the site an impressive 730 feet, which holds a conservative 35 large trucks. And so staff does feel that the site plan in its current configuration with the traffic study, and Chick-fil-A also has their traffic management plan that was included in the traffic study. It's also included as an attachment to the staff report. But they have procedures in place so that when our residents get excited and the lines get a little bit long, their team is prepared to handle that and make sure that the traffic isn't affecting Surf Through, Dutch Bros, or any of the other.
Or Feather River Boulevard.
Lower down.
Hey, shoot for the stars.
Okay, so, as with the other ones, there are some project-specific conditions. The first one I'd like to talk about is, condition number 1. Chick-fil-A is overparked by, 33%. Our code allows for a maximum of 125 parking spaces. What this means is that we have a minimum number, and that minimum number was 43. Chick-fil-A decided to from 100 to 133. They had 52 parking spaces, we wouldn't be having this. But they are high demand, as everybody knows, and they like to make sure they can accommodate all their guests. And the parking does fit on site, and so we are asking, it is through a use permit that you can receive the maximum parking. And so I am requesting that the 57 off-street parking spaces be memorialized as a condition of approval. The next is the signage. They did submit a pretty comprehensive sign program already. However, staff and the applicant were unable to get a final determination on the location of some of the signage, as well as potential height, visibility issues. There might have been a potential to have to move the walkway around that connects Caltrans walkway, and so instead of, normally a use permit would have the sign in front of you guys today as well. We are asking that, because they did originally include in the packet, final numbers for you, that it be included as part of the use permit, but the sign program be by staff administratively once all those numbers have.
So they're not piggybacking off of the Maverick sign or anything?
Not at this moment, no.
How tall was there?
So the Maverick sign and the Feather River Crossing sign and the Chick-fil-A sign are all supposed to be 85 feet. Last week, I did do a test with the representative, and we drove back and forth, and we looked at the sign at 10-foot intervals, and it's hidden. It's hidden behind the Feather River Crossing sign, that big monument one, and you just can't see it. So when you're coming forward below Van Boulevard, you can kind of see a flash at 85 feet, and then the next time the sign is visible is basically when it's and so I don't feel comfortable proposing either a 75 or a 65-foot sign, just because it pre-planning, and I don't want people at the very last minute.
Crossing all the lanes,
I don't
the
want
2
the
lane,
Butte,
yeah.
Butte College Chico kids thinking they can do. So that is why I'm requesting that. But staff is requesting the fully.
How tall was the Applebee sign?
85.
So it'd be the same height as that
Everything
one?
is the same
Oh, okay.
Very tiny project-specific conditions. Number 1 is that we have the 57 off-street parking spaces. Number 2 is that the sign package be finished administratively with staff. Number 3 is that they comply with our development standards for drive-throughs as conditioned, and with the site plan, they do already meet that condition. And then number 4 is the public art one. Since they are new construction, they are required to do either public art or a 1% fee. I'm hoping they do the public art, but that is their discretion. And that concludes my staff report. So I do have a recommendation.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to speak?
Well, Good evening, Chair Jenkins and Commissioners. My name is Christine Cho. I'm with Chick-fil-A's West Region Development and Construction team out here in California, and I oversee new store development in all of Northern California. So thank you for your time and consideration this evening. I'd like to especially thank planning staff and Christina for her thorough presentation of our project. We've been working very closely with staff on numerous aspects of the project, and we're really proud of where it is at right now, and I feel confident that it'll make a great addition to the city of Oroville. So just a little bit about Chick-fil-A. We're a family-owned, privately held quick-serve restaurant that began in 1946. We are, along with our locally owned independent owner-operators, our company is devoted to serving the communities that we serve, along with great food made with the top quality ingredients, including our famous Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, original chicken sandwich. Our business model is built on local ownership. Most of our local owner-operators run a single restaurant. They tend to live in the community, and they're there versus some of our other QSRs that are out there. Our operators are at the restaurant, almost every day, running and operating the restaurant. They take great pride in, and they care about the impact of the restaurant and the team members in the community. And this restaurant will approximately employ about 100 to 120 local residents. We're very proud that a lot of our team members, it's their first job with local students. So working for a Chick-fil-A, you get a lot of great pay, great benefits, flexible hours. We have amazing scholarship programs for team members for continual education. And in fact, since 1973, Chick-fil-A has awarded close to $191 million in scholarships for team members, for about 105 team members to be exact. So that's just one of many ways. Some of our participating restaurants, they also participate in Shared Table program, which is, they donate food. They donate their surplus food to local shelters, soup kitchens, and charity. And since the beginning of that program, since 2012, I believe, they've donated more than 25 million meals to those in need. So these are one of many ways that we show care to the community. And we're very grateful to be here tonight. And, we're very thrilled and excited to bring you this new restaurant, and we feel that it's going to be a great addition to the city of Oroville. So thank you very much. I have my team here tonight. My design team is here. We're like the A-team. We're the NorCal A-team, we call it. And they're here to answer any kind of questions related to our project or just Chick-fil-A in general. So we're here for you tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this item?
Submitted.
Thank you. We will close public hearing and limit discussion between commissioners and staff. Any questions or comments?
The drive-through, how many cars can it hold?
The drive-through can hold approximately 20. The traffic management plan, conservatively 35.
And that's for both sides?
And that's large trucks.
Well, I mean, is there two drive-throughs or one drive-through? Two lanes going into one?
So it is, we're going to pull it right back up for you. It is 2 lanes going into one. So they start as 2, you place your order, and then they merge into one.
Same as McDonald's.
Same as
yeah.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
Do you have the same, I don't want to say it, but In-N-Out, they have the guys outside taking orders, you do the same thing?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one in Rockland, they have all kinds of staff down there directing the parking and stuff, so, yeah.
So has there, car stacking at some of your other, not really been an issue with that kind of a model? With the double lane and the guys outside taking the orders, you really?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Happy to answer your questions. I'm Charlie with the development team here. So on stacking and people ordering upstream.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a very effective model. It's a highly trained team that is out there with iPads doing the orders, directing traffic as well. So they go through a thorough training on doing that. And we think we're probably one of the best in the country at navigating that traffic.
cars? How many do you anticipate at one time?
So in the drive-through total, it's about 21 cars, but that's using a 19-foot model for, it's kind of like almost your average Ford F-150, so like 19, 21 Ford F-150s in the drive-through, so smaller cars could fit several more.
Okay, all right. Very good. No, I think it's great. I think it's great.
And spillover would not go to Feather River, right?
It would take a long ways.
Yeah.
So, I have a few supplemental slides.
Is that access road? Does that have a name, or is that just, we just call that an access road?
It's a private drive, it's on the site, it doesn't have a name yet. My understanding is it's supposed to be dedicated to the city at some point, I believe Tim was saying, but that has not occurred yet.
And that's intended to be the access for this?
There'll be two access points, but
Where's my big one? Oh,
Yeah.
no, if I took it off. Okay, so, sorry, I did have, a different one. This is the Maverick site and the Chick-fil-A site. The Dutch Bros and the Surf Thru are directly to the north of Maverick, and then there's that private drive. So ideally, yeah, we're gonna have cars go through that private drive, come down, and then they will enter through the,
They'll just learn how to get there. They're gonna come in.
Well, what they're gonna do is if they get too much traffic,
Right here.
this lane going this way, then will become a one-way going in and feeding
yeah,
as well,
so, part of their traffic management
got
plan
access
is,
to here.
Yeah.
they put cones right, I know it's hard to see you guys, they put cones right here that stops people from entering the drive-through from this area. And then they have team members standing around in this area with signage that helps direct people to this entry, and then this becomes the one-way, into the drive-through lane.
Is it also true that there's going to be a Chick-fil-A sign at the entrance to the private drive, next to the coffee place there?
Right by Dutch Brothers.
To
We will
encourage,
work with
to
our-
encourage people to enter at that location?
yeah, we'll work with our team on that. We actually don't have those plans back just yet, including that portion, but it's part of the 85-foot pole sign that's being considered. Yeah. We do find, though, that our customers will find the best traffic pattern to get to the site, which is most likely going to be around that back entrance because it leads you straight to the drive-through. And yeah, we have a great customer base, and we do find that those traffic patterns become pretty instinctual after, a couple months or a month after grand opening.
Right, 'cause
Now, we are going to have an issue, and it's not really, doesn't really concern the applicant, I guess maybe tangentially, but when people are coming off of Highway 70 to come to Chick-fil-A, they're not going to come in this way
Yeah,
because
you can't make a U-turn there.
yeah, we have a
Right,
no U-turn, so they're going to be turning left onto Feather River, and there's no protected left from Feather River into this complex. So there is room on Feather River should we decide to restripe it and put a protected left turn on there, which we really should do, like now.
I would support that.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull up a better aerial that has.
Yeah,
all
I'm
the
looking at
sites
it on my phone right now, so.
We'll take that as an instruction to staff to work with our engineering team to take a look at
Yeah,
now all the new development that's there and whether that's
Yeah,
warranted now.
the shared left turn lane ends just shy of that intersection as you continue south, and there's just a small area where that doesn't have a left turn lane, and that's the area where people are gonna be turning in for Chick-fil-A. And if they're gonna get the kind of traffic that I think they're gonna get, we're gonna have a problem on Feather River if we don't mitigate for that.
yeah.
So, yeah, so right here,
It's just one lane.
there,
So that's a Maverick-only entrance right there, right?
That's not the entrance we're anticipating people using.
What entrance
So
are you
this is one of
anticipating?
the
people
intersections-
using?
Further north.
that was
Right there,
evaluated.
right there.
Right there.
This
Past
is
the
the
Dutch Brothers.
intersection that we would
Yeah.
ideally like. So Starbucks is.
I mean, Dutch
right-
Brothers.
No, Starbucks is where, like approximately.
She's just pointing out that Starbucks has
Oh.
that sign
Right
that's
about
on
there?
Feather River Boulevard, and Chick-fil-A will have the sign equal to
There is a
that.
sign for,
It's an old picture.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Starbucks has been there a long time.
There, oh, thank
Well,
you,
the-
Kelly. There is a sign right about here, and it is in the city right away, and it is for Starbucks, right? It's a little tiny one that says Starbucks drive-through. we are hoping, if we need it, to do something very similar for Chick-fil-A. Oh, here, oh, look.
There it is.
Look how good I am. Right there it is. So,
Ooh, that's pretty large. I mean, it's.
that is what 85 feet looks like.
Well,
from the
actually,
angle.
and that is, actually, I was gonna recommend, we need a street light right there, because that is a dark, you can't see that at night.
This sign.
That
right
little
here?
driveway,
That little driveway, yes.
yeah, you can't see
There's no
that.
lights.
There's
Oh,
no
yeah,
lights.
There's no lights up there.
There's no light there,
No.
it's terrible, because people slow way down to try to find it, and,
Well,
you know.
I am sure our engineers would absolutely love to reevaluate that. Because we are gonna have a lot more traffic. You know,
Yeah.
once their surf-through opens, right, you know, you've seen it, right? Like, it's coming up really quick. And then with whatever the empty pad site is, and then with Chick-fil-A, so we should make sure that this street is up.
So you'll notice right where you're at right there, you already have the middle lane.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
there. It's just
It's
like-
there.
the
It just doesn't
striping
continue
Start
So
until, like, right, like here? I
right
think?
there.
Yeah.
It goes to single lane.
It goes to, yeah, so people will turn in here. I mean, I may or may not be one of them when I'm trying to get my coffee in the morning. And there is enough with here for someone to probably illegally turn, maybe, I don't know. But there is room, and so if people do queue up there, it wouldn't be ideal, so we would like a sign at the end, but,
I still would recommend that we include have the left turn lane continue down the road, because it's going to be a problem.
The,
You can have signage that tries to take people down the street to go to Chick-fil-A. I know how travelers are. We travel all the time. We're not going to do it. We're going to go, we see the Chick-fil-A, we're going to the Chick-fil-A.
so, can we go back to my PowerPoint?
And I will say, we didn't anticipate that entrance in any of our traffic reports, since that's not a legal turning motion at the time. So in our traffic studies, we didn't contemplate that as an option.
So we could always go fifth dimensional and just put a curb right down the middle of it and really mess everybody up.
So we could,
Just like they did at Starbucks on Olive Highway, right?
we could do that.
The traffic impact analysis that's part of the application that was done for this has a couple conclusions. One is that they've looked at all of the intersections involved in this, and they've concluded that all queues are projected to be contained within their respective storage pockets, and that includes the Feather River left turn lane.
Well, there is no storage pocket there.
No. It also says it's recommended that Chick-fil-A install wayfinding, directing customers on SR 162 to utilize that intersection at the top, the private road.
But they'd have to put, do they instruct them to put signage on Feather River? Because
Well,
that's,
so
And I will say to that as well, Caltrans provided comments, we can't put wayfinding sign on the SR 162.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can encourage people to use that driveway, that top driveway there, to get onto the site. So.
I wanted to just show this exhibit really fast. Charlie was kind enough to send it to me earlier today. This would be if people were coming in from the entrance off of Oro Dam. They do also have a plan in place to direct traffic away from the pumps for the semis,
Right.
to again help contain it relatively on site and safe.
I mean, my point is, of course, is that they're going to get a lot of traffic off of 70, and that this is not the pattern for folks coming off of 70.
No, probably some of them will try and make illegal U-turns, which would then put them into this entrance. Otherwise, they'll go down to Feather River and hopefully make a.
And make the left where I think they're going to make the left, yes.
Probably at
That's
first,
what they
yeah.
will do.
Yeah. People are going to do what they do.
And we should make it safe for them.
Any other questions or comments?
Is there landscaping here, or?
There is landscaping.
Okay, it's
It's
just not-
pretty robust and awesome.
Okay, that's
just
what I
didn't
thought.
include it for time.
I expected that, that's what it would
There is a
be.
condition that they have a landscape maintenance agreement.
Okay. Awesome, thank you.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, thank you.
open for a motion if there's no other questions or comments.
Propose that we passed, adopt the resolution number 2025-05, right?
7.
07.
07.
I'll second.
Was there anything that we need?
Yeah, we actually have several other motions. Do you want your motion to just say as agendized per staff recommendation?
Yep.
Okay.
There were no
Second?
additions to that, right?
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll second. Third, no matter.
All fourth.
Motion passes unanimously.
What's the
Thank you.
timeline? You have a timeline?
We're looking to start construction the first quarter of 2026
Okay.
and hopefully be open towards the end of the third quarter of 2026.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys still moving forward with purchasing the other property or getting the other property there to
In-
develop it as well? Or
In Oroville.
Yeah,
That'll be, are we looking at another Oroville property at this time?
okay.
Yeah. Nothing to confirm.
All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That closes the public hearing. Do we have any commissioner reports?
Well, the state of the city, you're all gonna be there, right? It's mandatory.
What's the date for that?
The 29th. Is that Tuesday? Tuesday at 5, we're not gonna have all the dancing competition teams. I don't know if you were at the last one, so it will be a very civil event. But we're recognizing historic preservation recipients. We don't have the plaques. The plaques come in October. This is just, we announce it, make mention of it, let the paper know, give them a paper certificate, and then they get the plaques in October when the homes are open. And we'll have the homes open from last year and then from this year. So we'll have hopefully 5 places on the tour, which will be fun. Yes.
Any other commissioner reports? Historical advisory?
I think that was the same thing, yeah.
That's fine.
And Warren, Warren's going to announce an award too, and Daniel Ballard, so it's great. And so next year we'll just let other commissioners take a turn.
Any staff reports?
Yes, I have one for all of you, if you don't mind. I just wanted to let you guys know that I have taken another position with another company.
I saw
I am
this.
actually helping. Yes, I know.
I saw it.
I'm actually helping, obviously keeping things going for the city. So different job by day, city worker by night still.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes. So that being said, I don't know if I will still be here at the next planning commission. My hope is that I am. I'll be training somebody else. But in the event that I do not see all of you, I just wanted to let you know it's been a pleasure to serve.
Oh.
Well, thank you.
We will miss you.
We wish you well.
Yeah, we do miss you well.
We have the Southside Community Cleanup Day on Saturday from 8 o'clock till the work's over. We thought it might be till 12, but it's probably going to be till about 10:30 or something like that. So if you want to participate, if you have friends that want to, come meet us at Martin Luther King Park at 8 a.m. And John Zillich has graciously offered to cook for everybody, so.
Awesome.
Cooking.
A hearty breakfast?
No.
Lunch?
Hearty
Yes.
lunch.
Hearty lunch,
Burgers.
okay.
It'll be burgers.
That's right, feed after the work.
Yes.
Yeah,
Don't
get-
feed before the work.
Exactly.
I've had 5 kids go through my house. I don't feed them before the work.
No, they get the work done. That's great.
That's it.
Any other staff reports?
I have no staff report.
Oh. Well, we will adjourn the meeting till May 22nd, 2025 at 6.